What is up, my homies? It's your dude, El Charles the Great, back with another movie book analysis. Alright, the book I'm doing today is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, which had a 2018 live-action adaptation. So, I'm going to keep this within 3 minutes to keep you from tearing your ears off, and I know from experience that is not a good thing to do, especially in Corona season. So, I'll keep it quick. Okay, so quick synopsis of the book before I get into a couple main points. So there's this kid named Wade Watts, and his only escape from his near-future dystopian reality that was caused by climate change, like we're talking trailer skyscrapers. I mean, when you got trailer skyscrapers, you know it's bad. But so his only escape from reality is this giant video game called The Oasis. We're talking Chuck Norris of video games here. So, his only escape is the Oasis, where you can be anything, do anything, the whole shebang. But then, there's this corporate demon, like the McDonald's and Disney of video games, and they're trying to take over. So it becomes a race to the finish to get the Easter egg that the dead creator left, which lets you control the Oasis and gain his massive fortune, between Wade Watts and his buddies and the corporate demons. We're just going to call him McDisney. Alright, so I'm just going to get into it right here. So if you haven't seen the book or the movie, I'm sorry. I'm going to go kind of quick. Alright, so one of the main things I'd like to keep in mind is that when you're a filmmaker and an author, there are two separate things where you can really use descriptiveness. So Spielberg had a lot of visual things, he had a lot of 80s things because that's when the creator grew up. He had a lot of 80s references and a lot of visual things, like all CG backgrounds, real fancy stuff. And then in the book, there were a lot of great descriptions that just tied everything together. And because of the visual thing and all the references, Spielberg got in over his head, in my opinion. So Spielberg had this great scene where one of the challenges that you could get to the Easter egg, where everyone had to go in, was a recreation of The Shining, allegedly one of the creator's favorite, movies. So they go into The Shining, and it's this great sequence. It's, super cool. But it wasn't in the book. And the other two challenges have nothing to do with the book either. So he got in over his head, and instead of making it true to the book, because it wasn't very appealing, it was way more appealing on paper because there was this great, game of Joust, which is, this old-school video game that's really cool. So, old-school game of Joust, it would be really boring to see, it was, 10 hours worth of playing this one video game. But the description was so good, it kept you going. You know how books make you just keep going? Oh, well, I'm over time, so I'm just going to make a part 2.